Good evening. Welcome to Meetings with Our Community.
17 locations like this where people are going today to apply for their municipal ID, ID NYC. This is a historic day because for hundreds of thousands of New Yorkers, this will be the first time they could get any kind of ID. And for hundreds of thousands of New Yorkers, this is the first time that ID was made simpler for them. And there'll be tremendous benefits in that process. So, if you're like me, you're going to go get a municipal ID card. But really what's beautiful about it is what it stands for. It stands for everyone being respected, everyone being included, everyone having opportunity. That's what we believe in, and this card epitomizes the values of this city. It epitomizes the history of this city. It epitomizes the values of this administration and our colleagues in the City Council. So this is a launch of something that will make life better in this city. And it fulfills a promise that we made, that my administration made and the City Council made, to uplift so many New Yorkers who needed to be recognized and respected. It'll literally tangibly allow people full participation and full opportunity. Something as simple as this little card. I really want people to understand the tangible impact. One piece of plastic, but it's going to open so many doors for our fellow New Yorkers. It's going to make their lives better. Because in the absence of identification in a modern society, there are so many things you can't do. This card's available to everyone. It's going to mean people can lead fuller lives, better lives, lives full of respect and recognition. For hundreds of thousands of people, ID was out of reach for a lot of reasons. For one thing, we're just different from so much of the rest of the country. About half of the residents of this city who are 16 years old or older don't have a driver's license. That would be inconceivable in other parts of the country. But here, the actual use of a driver's license is just much lower for obvious reasons. This card will be free, so we can get it launched properly. In future years, there will be a modest charge for the card. Of course, when we provide the ID card, we will not ask the immigration status of anyone applying. And I'm going to ask all my friends in the media, and including in the media that writes and speaks in different languages, to amplify that point. No one will be asked their immigration status in applying to the library for an ID, for a municipal ID, because it's not pertinent. If you're a New Yorker, that's all we care about. If you're a New Yorker, we want you to have access to this ID.
This week on City Scoop, the city rolls out ID NYC, the nation's largest municipal identification program.
For hundreds of thousands of New Yorkers, this will be the first time they could get any kind of ID.
The program will provide official identification for all New Yorkers, including undocumented immigrants, making it easier for those without an ID to open bank accounts, apply for work, or rent an apartment. ID NYC will also provide a year of free membership to the city's premier cultural institutions. Starting July 1st, the city will ban single-service styrofoam containers, and food service establishments, stores, and manufacturers may not possess, sell, or offer foam articles. 2014 saw the fewest murders in recorded city history and dramatic lows in robberies, burglaries, and other crimes within a 10-year period, according to a report released by the NYPD. The city has invested over $350 million in the police force, adding mobile technology, training, and body cameras to their arsenal. That's it for this week's City Scoop. Check us out on demand or Friday nights on NYC Life.
Please stop calling.
Hey, it's me.
Okay, good. I thought it was Molina again. He won't stop calling and asking for Jay Carney.
Why won't he return my calls? Thought we were friends.
Oh, no.
We called because we wanted to talk to you about Big Block of Cheese Day.
Second annual. Mary, you on?
Excuse me.
Who's that?
Mary McCormick. National Security Advisor?
Well, you played one on TV.
Shall restart?
Good idea.
What is happening here?
Is this making you blue because blue is also a type of cheese?
Guys, I'm really busy.
Look, Josh, back in the day, Andrew Jackson trucked in a 2-ton block of cheese and put it in the foyer of the White House.
Yeah, I don't think they had trucks.
It was a big event, so the president could talk to citizens about what was on their minds.
I know this. I watched The West Wing. Plus, we did this last year.
We think the White House should have a big block of cheese day, but on the internet.
BYOC, bring your own cheese.
I'm on board. We did this last year.
We want it to be feta than last year.
Is that Janny?
You feta believe it.
We're already doing the second annual Big Block of Cheese Day. We'll have senior White House officials online answering questions from anybody that wants to ask.
So, like Reddit.
Yeah, but without the weird stuff.
Hit me with the hashtag. What's the hashtag gonna be?
We're using Ask the WH. Who asked that? Mr. Sheen?
You feta believe it. All right, I know Allison already used feta, but Limburger doesn't appeal to me. Hello?
Hey everybody, we're in the Oval Office here and been doing some work on State of the Union. I'm going to be giving the State of the Union next week, but as you may know, I've been going around the country starting to preview some of the things that I think are really going to be important for us to make sure that we are growing this economy and that it works for everybody. And one of the things that I'm going to make an early announcement about this week is the issue of getting faster broadband. I want to take a look at something that I've got here on my iPad. This is internet download speeds by city. Okay, I can zoom up if you want so you can see the names there. So you've got Seoul, South Korea, Hong Kong, Tokyo, Paris. These cities all have really fast access to the internet because they've made the investments in broadband. Now, here's what's interesting. Right next to it, you got Cedar Falls, Iowa. Now, Cedar Falls isn't a really big place. You only got 40,000 people in Cedar Falls. But the reason they can compete with these other world cities is because citizens got together and made the investment to bring competition in and make sure that internet speeds were just as fast there as anywhere else. We've got some other cities like Kansas City and Chattanooga, Tennessee that are doing similar things, and that gives them a huge competitive advantage. It means a business can come in and locate there knowing that they can hook into world markets, products, services, anywhere around the globe. So I'm going to be going to Cedar Falls to highlight this. The reason is because unfortunately we've also got a bunch of US cities that aren't on par, that aren't moving as fast when it comes to broadband. And you know what it feels like when you don't have a good internet connection, right? Everything's buffering, you're trying to download a video, you got that little circle thing that goes around and around, it's really aggravating. But that may mean money if you're trying to do a business deal, or you may lose a customer if they're not able to see you respond quickly. If you're a student and you're trying to study for an exam and you're supposed to download some information and it doesn't come, that's a problem for you. So there are real world consequences to this, and it makes us less economically competitive. Now, the good news is that there's some steps we can take through executive actions that allow us to make sure that every community can do what Cedar Falls is doing. Every community will be able to make the investments they need to speed up broadband, bring in more competition, give consumers more choice, and as a consequence, hopefully they're going to be in a better position to attract businesses, make sure students have the web at their fingertips, make sure that all the uses of the internet that are available are right there in their communities. So that's what I'm going to be talking about in Cedar Falls. You want to tune into this because obviously it affects your lives, and it's just one more part of this overall strategy that we've got, building on the progress we've already made to make sure now that that progress reaches every person who's willing to work hard and trying to make it here in America.
This week on City Scoop, the city rolls out IDNYC, the nation's largest municipal identification program.
For hundreds of thousands of New Yorkers, this will be the first time they could get any kind of ID.
The program will provide official identification for all New Yorkers, including undocumented immigrants, making it easier for those without an ID to open bank accounts, apply for work, or rent an apartment. IDNYC will also provide a year of free membership to the city's premier cultural institutions. Starting July 1st, the city will ban single-service styrofoam containers, and food service establishments, stores, and manufacturers may not possess, sell, or offer foam articles. 2014 saw the fewest murders in recorded city history and dramatic lows in robberies, burglaries, and other crimes within a 10-year period, according to a report released by the NYPD. The city has invested over $350 million in the police force, adding mobile technology, training, and body cameras to their arsenal. That's it for this week's City Scoop. Check us out on demand or Friday nights on NYC Life.
Good afternoon, everybody. I want to thank Secretary Johnson, Deputy Secretary Mayorkas, and the dedicated public servants of the Department of Homeland Security for welcoming me here today. I've kind of taken over your workspace. I apologize for that, but just pretend that I'm not here. I want you to keep working. I did ask who dressed up for this event, and apparently a few were brave enough to admit it. But, you know, in advance of my State of the Union address next week, I've been rolling out my proposals for keeping our economy on track, keeping it growing, making sure we're creating jobs and opportunity for the American people. And that includes the extraordinary opportunities that exist in our digital economy. Yesterday, I announced new proposals to better protect Americans from identity theft and ensure our privacy, including making sure that our kids are safe from digital marketing and intrusions on their privacy based on what they're doing at school. Tomorrow in Iowa, I'll talk about how we can give more families and communities faster, cheaper access to the broadband that allows them to successfully compete in this global economy. And on Thursday, the Vice President will be in Norfolk to highlight the need to continue to invest in the education and skills for our cybersecurity professionals. But today, I'm here at DHS to highlight how we can work with the private sector to better protect American companies against cyber threats. Shortly after I took office, I declared that cyber threats pose an enormous challenge for our country. It's one of the most serious economic and national security challenges we face as a nation. Foreign governments, criminals, and hackers probe America's computer networks every single day. We saw that again with the attack at Sony, which actually destroyed data and computer hardware that is going to be very costly for that company to clean up. Just yesterday, we saw the hack of a military Twitter account and YouTube channel. No military operations were impacted. So far, it appears that no classified information was released, but the investigation is ongoing, and it's a reminder that cyber threats are an urgent and growing danger. Today, I'm in Cedar Falls to talk about how we can give more communities access to faster, cheaper broadband so they can succeed in the digital economy. And I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. Today, high-speed broadband is not a luxury, it's a necessity. This isn't just about making it easier to stream Netflix or scroll through your Facebook news feed, although that's fun, and it is frustrating if you're waiting for a long time before the thing finally comes up. This is about helping local businesses grow and prosper and compete in a global economy. It's about giving the entrepreneur, the small business person on Main Street, a chance to compete with the folks out in Silicon Valley or across the globe. It's about helping a student access the online courses and employment opportunities that can help her pursue her dreams. And that's why, through the Recovery Act, when I first came into office, we were trying to make sure that we prevented the Great Depression, but also start building some foundations for long-term growth, we built or improved more than 113,000 miles of network infrastructure throughout the country. That's enough to circle the globe more than 4 times. We've hooked up tens of thousands of schools and libraries and medical facilities and community organizations. And then we launched something we call Connect Ed, which trains teachers and spurs private sector innovation and is connecting 99% of America's students to high-speed internet. But, and this is why I'm here, we've still got a lot of work to do. Right now, 98% of Americans have access to the most basic levels of broadband, and that's a good thing. But that number doesn't look quite as good when you look at the speeds we're going to need for all the apps and the videos and all the data and new software that is constantly coming onto market. We've got to keep pace. We've got to be up to speed. Right now, about 45 million Americans cannot purchase next-generation broadband. And those are that next generation of broadband creates connections that are 6 or 7 times faster than today's basic speeds. And by the way, only about half of rural Americans can log on at that super fast rate. And if folks do have good, fast internet, chances are they only got one provider to pick from. And today, tens of millions of Americans have only one choice for that next generation broadband. So they're pretty much at the whim of whatever internet provider is around. In Cedar Falls, things are different. About 20 years ago, in a visionary move, ahead of its time, this city voted to add another option to the market and invest in a community broadband network. Really smart thing you guys did. This is a really smart thing you guys did. And you've managed it right here at Cedar Falls Utilities. Then a few years ago, you realized that customers were demanding more and more speed. All the movies, all the increased data, Instagram, all this stuff suddenly is just being loaded up. And basically, you guys were like the captain in Jaws, where you say, we're going to need a bigger boat. So having already made the smart investment 20 years ago, about 5 years ago, you said, we got to upgrade to a fiber network throughout the city. And eventually, with the help of some federal funding, the surrounding rural areas as well. So today, Cedar Falls is Iowa's first gigabit city. Now that sounds like something out of a Star Wars movie, gigabit city. Here's what it means. Your network is as fast as some of the best networks in the world. There's Hong Kong, Tokyo, Paris, Cedar Falls. Right? That's the company you're keeping. You are almost 100 times faster than the national average. 100 times faster. You can log on for about the same price as some folks pay for a fully loaded cable bundle.
This week on City Scoop, the city rolls out IDNYC, the nation's largest municipal identification program.
For hundreds of thousands of New Yorkers, this will be the first time they could get any kind of ID.
The program will provide official identification for all New Yorkers, including undocumented immigrants, making it easier for those without an ID to open bank accounts, apply for work, or rent an apartment. IDNYC will also provide a year of free membership to the city's premier cultural institutions. Starting July 1st, the city will ban single-service styrofoam containers, and food service establishments, stores, and manufacturers may not possess, sell, or offer foam articles. 2014 saw the fewest murders in recorded city history and dramatic lows in robberies, burglaries, and other crimes within a 10-year period, according to a report released by the NYPD. The city has invested over $350 million in the police force, adding mobile technology, training, and body cameras to their arsenal. That's it for this week's City Scoop. Check us out on demand or Friday nights on NYC Life.
Wow, time flies when you're playing politics with people's lives. Just a year ago, as the Republican majority was rushing off to their retreat, they had a very different story. Here it is. House Immigration Reform 2013, Goodluck Cantor working to give legal status to kids. House GOP leaders embrace immigration fix that includes status for undocumented. Republicans see the light on immigration reform. And what are the headlines today? Behold, the Republican immigration strategy, mass deportation. 1 year ago. This is the difference in the headlines that your party's public policy on immigration have caused. But wait, let's see what you said in your principles. It is time to provide an opportunity for legal residence and citizenship for those who were brought to this country as children through no fault of their own, those who knew no other place as home. Citizenship, legal residence for the undocumented youth. That was your idea, one that we applauded and we accepted and we cheered on. And 1 year later, you want to take away from 600,000 dreamers their right to live in this country and to live legal. You want to deport them all. What happened? What happened?
The chair would remind the gentleman to direct remarks to the chair and not to other members.
Well, then let me say this, Mr. Speaker. I just think, if that's what happened in 1 year, what are you going to come up with next year? What's your game plan for next year? If this is the kind of position you've taken from 1 year to the next. But let me just say this. The action you take today, I know you believe, will cause fear and confusion and consternation in the immigrant community throughout this nation, so thereby causing the failure of the president's executive order because no one will sign up. But let me tell you something. The fruits of your action today will cause only anger and outrage and the mobilization of an immigrant community throughout this nation that will be the death knell to the future of your party as a national institution. That is what you will reap today with this. Tonight, I will be with Congressman Cicilline, and I will be there standing with the Archdiocese, Catholic Archdiocese, with evangelicals, with men of faith in Providence, Rhode Island, and people will come forward. What will the Republican Party be? Simply telling them that we cannot do any better.
Gentleman's time has expired. A gentleman reserved.
This week on City Scoop, the city rolls out IDNYC, the nation's largest municipal identification program.
For hundreds of thousands of New Yorkers, this will be the first time they could get any kind of ID.
The program will provide official identification for all New Yorkers, including undocumented immigrants, making it easier for those without an ID to open bank accounts, apply for work, or rent an apartment. IDNYC will also provide a year of free membership to the city's premier cultural institutions. Starting July 1st, the city will ban single-service styrofoam containers, and food service establishments, stores, and manufacturers may not possess, sell, or offer foam articles. 2014 saw the fewest murders in recorded city history and dramatic lows in robberies, burglaries, and other crimes within a 10-year period, according to a report released by the NYPD. The city has invested over $350 million in the police force, adding mobile technology, training, and body cameras to their arsenal. That's it for this week's City Scoop. Check us out on demand or Friday nights on NYC Life.
This week in the state of New York, first capping, then freezing, now cutting.
We're talking about a significant difference. We're talking for many homeowners in the thousands of dollars of difference.
Governor Cuomo presented the first piece of his 2015 Opportunity Agenda, a real property tax credit that provides relief to homeowners and renters who need it most. When fully phased in, more than 1.3 million taxpayers will receive an average credit of $950. It's another step toward upstate recovery. The governor stopped in Rochester to announce $1.5 billion in upstate revitalization competition grants. Modeled after the Buffalo Billion, the grants are expected to spur growth and population sustainability in major upstate urban centers. The state announced additional efforts to combat human trafficking, which affects more than 1,000 children in New York each year. A new poster has been placed in service plazas along the Thruway, in other rest stops, and in local departments of social services offices. Coming up next week, we'll have coverage of the governor's State of the State and executive budget addresses, which are set for January 21st. Follow Governor Cuomo on social media and visit governor.ny.gov or ny.gov for the latest. Until next Friday, that's the State of New York.
This week on City Scoop, the city rolls out IDNYC, the nation's largest municipal identification program.
For hundreds of thousands of New Yorkers, this will be the first time they could get any kind of ID.
The program will provide official identification for all New Yorkers, including undocumented immigrants, making it easier for those without an ID to open bank accounts, apply for work, or rent an apartment. IDNYC will also provide a year of free membership to the city's premier cultural institutions. Starting July 1st, the city will ban single-service styrofoam containers, and food service establishments, stores, and manufacturers may not possess, sell, or offer foam articles. 2014 saw the fewest murders in recorded city history and dramatic lows in robberies, burglaries, and other crimes within a 10-year period, according to a report released by the NYPD. The city has invested over $350 million in the police force, adding mobile technology, training, and body cameras to their arsenal. That's it for this week's City Scoop. Check us out on demand or Friday nights on NYC Life.
Many New Yorkers don't have access to a vehicle, so schlepping an old TV or computer to be recycled isn't easy. That's why the Department of Sanitation partnered with Electronic Recyclers International to create eCycle NYC. This free and convenient electronics recycling program is for residential buildings over 10 units. Learn more at nyc.gov/ecycle.
Thank you for watching Meetings with Our Community. We hope that you have enjoyed our show, and we hope to see you next week.